You're still watching Prime Morning. My name is Roslyn Felly. I know if you just tune on, you say, oh, Roslyn is finally on their screens. Yes, I'm here. And our conversation is actually a conversation that stems out of a conversation that we had yesterday. We were talking about unemployment, where we realized that when people talk about unemployment in the youth, the first thing that we talk about is for them to go into entrepreneurship. And then we say, oh, forget about the white-collar jobs. Why don't you start something on your own? But then we heard from them saying that it's very challenging. It's not as easy as we think it is. It's not as easy as it seems. And so there are things that have to be put in place for us to, that when somebody goes into entrepreneurship, the person can succeed. Today's conversation, we are having entrepreneurs here to share their stories with us and how we can solve the problem. If you're a young entrepreneur and you're facing any challenges, this conversation is for you. If you have dreams of getting into entrepreneurship, this conversation is for you. And if you also know somebody who is struggling, this conversation is for you. Let's get interactive on our social media platform. It's Joy Prime TV on Facebook. Make sure you send in your messages. We'll read it on air. Also, you send in your message on our WhatsApp number. Please don't call. I've had my very first call. No more calls. Just send in the message, and definitely we will be glad to read it. And it's going to be as interactive as possible. We have a lot of people joining us via Zoom this morning. But in the studio, I have with me Okbel Majub, and she is the CEO of Jakarta. Good morning, Okbel.
Good morning, Rosie.
How are you?
Fine, yourself?
I'm fine, thank you. And I also have Solomon Okai. He's a Programs and Research Officer for Foster. Good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
Great. Now I go on to Zoom and I will say good morning to my guest, Eben Adu. Good morning. Good morning, Eben. Hi, Eben.
Hello.
How are you? Good morning.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Great. Fine, thank you. I'll come back to you. Let me say good morning to Paul Mensah too. Good morning, Paul.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
How are you this morning, Paul?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
I'm fine, thank you. And thank you so much for joining us this morning. And like I said earlier, we want to get interactive. So if you're home and you want to join this conversation, we are talking about entrepreneurship. Now, this is what we say, creating jobs in an unemployable economy. Perspective from some entrepreneurs. The struggle is real. But how have they succeeded so far? Let me start off with Eben Adu. Eben, we want to hear your story as a young entrepreneur.
My name is Eben Adu. Currently, I'm 27 years. I'm from Washington. Then we've been having these challenges of unemployment here in Washington. So they are not much industries in our city. So the youth here find it so difficult to get a job today and for me, I was into football when I became the city. I resented back long success. I went to Thailand. But the first year, the 2 years do not specialize the Thailand work so much. So it's been very, very difficult these days for us to get some jobs to do.
All right, I think there's a little bit of internet challenges. Let me speak with Paul. Hello, Paul.
Oh, how are you?
Okay,
once again, I'm welcome to your show.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, you have been in the freight business for quite a while. How long have you been doing it?
Well, I have been in the industry for over 10 years now.
Right.
I'm into the freight and logistics industry. And we are still moving on, despite challenges that we face.
Tell us how it all started for you, your experience in the freight industry.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I have worked with a couple of companies, deriving their experiences from them. Somewhere 2017, I have to come out of being employed to become an employer. Meanwhile, I had a vision of establishing my own business. So while I was in the university, 2015, I registered my company by name Freight Connect Ghana Limited. And interestingly, I've traveled to China and for some conference. So I had this group of people from Pakistan. We had a conversation and they were telling me about how they have been able to manage a family business for one generation to another. And I picked an interest in the conversation. And the name of their company is called Freight Connection Pakistan. So when I came to Ghana, I decided that I would follow their path. So I registered a company and I named it Freight Connect Ghana. And it's been moving well since I moved from a full-time employee to become a full-time employer since 2018. So from 2018, I've been in the industry operating on my own. I've been doing work up and down. I have trained a couple of young guys, and I've actively engaged myself in the maritime and shipping industry. And fortunately for me, I have 2 awards to my credit. In 2019, 40 Under 40 awarded me. And then in just 2000 and last year, 2022, Ghana Shippers Award, I was being recognized as the Promising CEO of the Year. And so far, it's been good, and it's been moving on very well. So that is my inspiration. That's where I started from.
Right. Let me come to the studio, Ogbel. Let me start off with you. How you started Jakarta?
Okay, so with the business Jakarta, we actually started a phenomenon note that I actually started from when I actually went from the corporate organizations to now moving to a personal level. What happened was I was very self-reliant and not dependent on people. And so in creating solutions, I actually looked at making sure that I could bring up solutions that will not just devastate people, but would actually empower people to let them feel there's a sense of ownership in terms of their whatever they are doing and in the places that will bring them to become owners of another set of business. And that's how we started Jakarta.
All right. If I have Ivy on the line, can I speak with Ivy? Hi, Ivy. Good morning. Ivy, kindly unmute yourself for me.
Hello, Roslyn.
Can you hear me? Ivy, kindly lower the volume of your television set. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, Roslyn.
Great.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ivy. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Great. Now, you are the MD of Lexv Agro Processing Limited, and of course, you've had this company for a while. Share your experience with us.
Okay, so Lexv Agro Processing, as the name says, is an agro processing company located in the Eastern region. That's the Frontier District, to be precise, at Osino. The factory is at Osino because of raw materials. We process everything cassava and everything maize, and we process it into different forms of cereals and of food. So for the Gari, we started as a Gari factory. So everybody knows us as a Gari manufacturing factory. We were under the buffer stock. We are still under buffer stock. So we supply the secondary schools with bags of Gari. We have exports from Nigeria that comes to pick up the Gari in large quantities. We process the Gari in different forms, into yellow Gari, coconut Gari, soya Gari. We do it in different forms for other people to appreciate the Gari that we have and what we can use it for. And for the cereals, we do a lot of processing with the maize cereal. We manufacture it into, we have the corn grits, that is the Equigwe meal, which is on the market and is on export market as well. And we also have the Oblayo on the market that is doing so well. We have the other cereals. We have wheat mix, oat mix, rice mix. All those cereals are nutritionally based well. They are well built for children, and they are also on the market. So we have a large scale of distributors and retail suppliers and wholesalers as well. So that's what we are doing. That's what we're into.
Of course.
Yeah.
Now, I'll come back to the studio and speak with Solomon. Solomon, you deal with more people who are into businesses. There's an NGO that you work with and you deal with this. Let's talk about the challenges that you hear from the people who are into business and they come to you. Of course, they come and cry on you.
Thank you very much. Good morning to all our viewers. I don't know whether you don't want to hear my story also.
Share your story with us. Why not? I think in Ghana, everyone
has a story. Yes.
So tell us your story then.
Back in 2007, right after secondary school, I was also involved in a little bit of a business. I was doing what we now know as mobile money. We were doing the space to space. We started with the space, space to space. So at a point, I ended up as a laborer,
Speak up a bit for me, please.
I ended up as a laborer in Abiko City, Kaswa, and then some parts of Old Botiano, just to raise money to keep the business moving, until I had to go to the university, and then I had to hand it over. So back to FOSDA. FOSDA is Foundation for Security and Development in Africa. The focus of the organization is on human security. When we say human security, we are looking at reducing the threats that causes insecurity in Ghana. And our focus on entrepreneurship emerged out of our activity on economic security, reducing poverty and reducing unemployment among young people, because one of our targets, the targets that we engage with are young people. And so in 2020, we conducted a study.
Let me come back to you.
Okay.
Sorry, let me go and speak with Ebenezer. Ebenezer? Hello, Ebenezer?
Yeah, hello.
Yes, Ebenezer, you know when we were speaking earlier, your network was a little bit faulty. You can finish off for us and then we can let you go, okay?
Okay, earlier, like I said, I'm from Wasi. And then I just there are not much of industries like that. Getting work for the youth has been very, very difficult to play.
Can you stand at one place, please, so we don't have any network challenges again?
Is it okay now?
Yes. Good.
Yeah. So I think creating jobs in Wasi has been one very, very difficult thing that they're experiencing here. Most of the youth are not working. So it is making things very, very difficult for us. So, I don't know. For me, I went into Thailand. That was a skilled work. Then I've been working with 2 companies, but on temporary basis. Sometimes you are forced to come and work for at least a month and then you'll be laid off for maybe 2 or 3 months before you can get another job to do. So things are not moving on very smoothly.
How long have you been unemployed?
Let me say 3 years.
How many years? 3 years.
3 years.
So how have you been surviving?
So I'll just be floating around and then try and see if I can get something to do myself.
So this is something that you're trying to do. Is it sustainable? Is it feeding?
Come again, please.
The something that you said you are trying to find to do, you're doing something, of course, like you said earlier, that you are doing something little. How much do you earn at the end of the month with the little that you're doing?
It's not stable. And then it's not like it's a monthly work. Sometimes it's on daily basis. So if you are lucky, you can go for as long as maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And then you can earn something around 1,000 or 1,000 to 1,500.
Right. Anyway, thank you so much. And let me ask you this before you go. The 1,000 or 1,500, is it enough that you can say that, okay, I can survive on that 1,500?
I would say it would be enough if I can continue to work for like 3-4 months continuously.
Right.
But it doesn't. It hasn't been very, very enough because sometimes for the 1,000 or 1,000 that I get, I can come and stay at home for like 2-3 months. So it's the same number to develop, and then it wouldn't be enough to take me that far.
Okay. Thank you so much, Eben, for joining us. Do hang in there and make sure that you don't tune out because this conversation is for you. I got a message coming in quite sad. It says, good morning, please. My name is Grace. I'm unemployed. Please kindly help me if any job is available because life is like hell for me. I am a pharmacist assistant and my last work was paying me 450 Ghana cedis, which I spent 740 Ghana cedis only on transportation, my rent, utility, and feeding, which is all giving me a headache. Please, life is very difficult for me. Sometimes I feel like giving up my life. Please don't give up. Please don't give up. Please don't give up. Hang in there. Make sure you watch this conversation. Don't tune out. Definitely you pick 1 or 2 out of this. And we'll try as much as possible to get in touch with you after the show and see what we can do to help you. So please do not tune out. We have your number on the WhatsApp. Let's get interactive. Do send in your messages as well. We are talking about entrepreneurship this morning. And we are speaking with some people who are into businesses and how they've managed to survive. Sorry, Solomon, you were making a point earlier which
yes,
I had to cut you.
I was talking about the research that the organization conducted in 2020. It was titled The Impact of COVID-19 on Youth Businesses and the Local Economies. We're looking at how young businesses have been impacted by the COVID. You know, these businesses were contributing in small ways to the district assemblies in the form of business operating permits. And so when the COVID struck, some of them were unable to pay this proper business operating permit. And together, we're in five regions and we're able to reach 767 businesses. And these businesses, 30% of them have been able to employ 2 other young people. And about 53% had employed one person. And so for us as an organization, we took inspiration from this and said that we are going to come up with a project to support young entrepreneurs because we believe that when a young person is able to set up a business, he's able to employ either 1 or 2 people into the business.
So how many people have you supported so far?
And so under our project, the Youth Entrepreneurship Support Project, we have supported 10 businesses in the Ashanti region and then the Northern region.
What kind of support?
It's not financial support.
Okay.
It's business managerial support, social media marketing,
Right.
business management support, and then branding. That way, you are in a good position to market your business, ensure that it grows over time, and you are able to support, employ other young people.
All right. Now, let me bring you into the conversation, Ogbel. Of course, we've heard so many times on countless occasions, like what Solomon said, COVID struck, and so businesses were affected heavily. Not just COVID. Now we are looking at the economic challenges. We are looking at the difficulty. Today I heard on radio that possibility that the cedi is going to depreciate 30% again before the close of the year. As a businesswoman, let's talk about some of the challenges you faced.
Okay, so I would say in all situations, there's always a way to navigate around it. We've actually been speaking for some time, and it's been all about the economic situations that hit the nation, some of them, which is COVID and all that. But as a business owner, anytime there is a business downfall because of circumstances, there's always a way out by finding and navigating the best possibilities of change to the business. For me, challenges are obstacles beyond which you call challenges, is to find and handle your way out. As me at Jakarta, what we've tried to do is try to find solutions. And then there hasn't been any challenge for us during the periods that we've had. So what we've done is we tried to create new products that met that kind of solutions at that time. And for us, it actually was a time for us to say, okay, people are going out, how are they going to carry out their bags, how are they going to carry out their masks, how are they going to carry out, and the solution was to build little purses and little bags that they could put these nose masks in and all that. Internationally, they was accepted. And then for us, I think for every individual, whenever there is a challenge for you, and as a business owner, you have to navigate around it, all boundaries aside, I mean, with the current economic situations we are having all around, you need to navigate to find the solutions around it. And that has been what we've gone through at Jakarta.
Right. Let me go and speak with Ivy on Zoom. Ivy? Hello, Ivy. All right, before Ivy gets ready, there's another message coming in. It hasn't been easy. To be unemployed by this time is very frustrating. The hunger alone some of us go through, and as a weekend student, that you need to top up your fees, contributions at school, and even to get transportation to attend lectures. But some of us still believe there will surely be light at the end of the tunnel. This coming from Sewa. Sewa, definitely light will be at the end of the tunnel. I'm happy that you are staying positive. Ivy, if you're ready, let's get talking. Ivy, kindly unmute yourself for me.
Hi, Rosalind.
Yes, Ivy. Now, Ivy, a lot of young people think that entrepreneurship is the solution to unemployment. Do you agree with this?
Hi, Rosalind.
Ivy, kindly turn off your television set so you don't have a feedback. Okay?
Yeah, is it better?
It's better, 100% better. So like I said, I asked you earlier, you know, most young people believe that unemployment, the only solution to unemployment is entrepreneurship. Do you agree with that?
I agree 100%, honestly. I've also worked in a corporate environment for 15 years before I did.
All right, so as we are waiting for the network challenges to be solved, another message coming in. Good morning, I'm watching you from WA and a graduate since 2013.
Decided to move into entrepreneurship. And honestly speaking, I'll not say it's been easy. I had done this a long time ago. I'll hear me.
Yes, I can hear you now, so I had to pause so continue, don't worry at all.
Sorry, it looks like I'm the only one very far. I'm in the eastern region, so my network is a little bit.
That's okay, we understand.
Yes, I agree to it. Yes, I agree to that, because even if you're in a corporate environment, you can also think about doing something on the side. Because honestly speaking, there's nothing like being independent and learning so much. I've been a corporate person. I've worked in an insurance company for 15 years. Some of the things I used to know in my department was just in my department. So until you come out to be on your own, you get to know that you need to learn everything concerning the business, from internal revenue. At those times, it will be just for the account people to pay us. You know, I don't need to go and see my tax, nothing. I don't need to know anything about how to pay my salaries. I don't need to know so much. It limits you in your knowledge base. Like, it limits what you need to learn. So for me, I would say that the best is to be an entrepreneur, seriously.
Right. And of course, coming from an entrepreneur, we do agree with you, because you are saying it. But some entrepreneurs also, I will say otherwise. Let me speak with Paul, who is into the freight business, and he's been doing it for the past 10 years. Paul? Hello, Paul.
Sorry, I muted myself. I've just unmuted. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you perfectly. And
yes, I really agree with Ivy on this. Interestingly, we've all had a bite of being an employee or working for someone before getting into this level. So I always tell people that before you want to be a master, learn how to be an apprentice. And the petty things that we learn, out of these experiences is what helps us to get into the future. Being an entrepreneur is something that it's not easy. Looking at the environment that we find ourselves, I mean the economy itself. The fundamentals of the economy are weak. In fact, things are not really moving in the right direction. Even coming out to register a business, the bureaucratic processes that you go through before you even get approval. And then once you come out and you want to even pay tax, an eye is on you and every single tax is being collected from you. Meanwhile, businesses are really not really going well, but you have to squeeze money and then pay tax. And these are some of the problems that we are having. We don't even have access to capitals. after the banking cleanup, I think they are now readjusting of seeing ways and means of helping businesses grow, because the lending rate and all these things are factors that really affect us as business people. But being an entrepreneur is one of the best way forward. But the question is, how do you start? Who will help you? Where do you get help from? Is the government willing to help you start and then being on your feet? So a time came that they said they were bringing the Youth Start program, and I was really in support of it. And I want to see how this program will roll out and how it's going to change the lives of the unemployed youth in the system. Once you go into being an entrepreneur or an employer, much is on you. Sometimes you have to raise capital. And I always say, if you want to start a business, the best place to access capital is not a bank. You have to speak to family members, some friends, and ask if they can be able to support you with small money. Then you can use it to start. In the future, when you gain grounds and you have the capacity to borrow, then you go ahead and you do the borrowing. So I advise people from the beginning that don't borrow from the bank. Don't do bank borrowing to begin a business. Start small. Whilst I had the privilege to be in China, I was standing with a young man, and he introduced his mother to me, and he was like, "This is my mother, he's the CEO of the company, and I am the managing director." And I said, "Oh, family business?" And he said, "Yes." He said, "In China, we have small businesses that are being managed by us." And I pushed to know more about how they were able to do these things. And this is the kind of approach that we have to adopt in this country. Because if Paul is capable of establishing a business, at least I can employ 1 or 2 people, and then they will come in, have an experience. When they go out, they can also make use of the experience and even become their own entrepreneurs. So we have to encourage the youth to be their own boss.
Right. No matter the challenges, right?
Yes, we have to encourage.
You did mention that, the question here is how you even start. And you have been in it for 10 years. So how did you start? How much capital did you use to start? And what has been your sustainability plan for you to last all these years?
These years. Okay. All right. So in 2017, when I have left my former company, I had some small capital. So I look at the resources that is available at that particular moment. You don't have to do something that is beyond you, go beyond your capacity. So you look at the available resources. Yes, I accept the fact that some people do not have the resources at all. They may have the ideas. So what I did was I look at the small resource that I have. I then look at, acquiring an office. And then my wife had one computer that she bought from someone. So we decided to bring the computer and come and start. And then we had one table. We started. I looked for young guys that they have just finished their national service, that they are looking for jobs to do, that they are not getting jobs. So when I meet this person, I thought, I want to start this. Will you like to join me? Instead of you sitting in the house, why can't you come and have some administrative skills? It will help you to better your future. So I started identifying some young guys. And then we started. And when I brought them in, I did an intensive marketing approach. I will train each and every one of them, do a presentation, and ask you to come and present to me. So they will all be sitting down, and then one person will take 10, come and tell some things about how to introduce a company and all this. And when they get it wrong, I correct them. Then we all go out, or we all reach out through the internet. We identify companies, send an introductory letter to them, tell them much about Freight Connect Ghana and what we can do. And one of the things that has sustained this business is looking beyond Ghana. We don't do just freight forwarding business. We go beyond Ghana. You go
beyond Ghana. Okay, let me come back to you, because there's now, as you said, we go beyond Ghana. That's everybody's dream, every entrepreneur, not to just do Ghana, but go beyond Ghana. A post on Facebook that I chanced on, this coming from Nasa Post, and he posted it on the 8th of April, reads, "I run a food processing company. We currently process yam and sweet potato. When I went to FDA to first register my products, We had to take a sample to Standards Authority to do a nutritional analysis. That is how much carbohydrates, protein, fat, etc. that was found in the yam. Mind you, this information is already pretty well known, yet I was made to pay and wait 6 weeks to get results and send back to FDA and wait another 3 months before I was issued with a certificate for my product. Altogether, it took 6 months to complete all processes at FDA, by which time CD had depreciated and some more, and we had to find additional capital to execute our business plan. Fast forward, we got the opportunity to export to USA, so we had to register with US FDA. Now, this is it. He said, and this is where the twist is. I sat in my bedroom in Accra and did a registration of my company and products in the US. They asked for even more detailed nutritional information, and all we had to do was copy and paste information from Google and send to them, and everything was completed in less than half an hour. So when we say Ghana is open for business, what exactly do we mean? This is his question he asked, and it was on Facebook. Let me come to you, Solomon. Now, these are things that people are facing, problems people are facing. They want to export, to go to FDA. All these long processes. He sat in the bedroom, in his comfort of his bedroom, in Ghana, did a registration in US, less than an hour. He went through. Now, you are part of policymakers. Let's talk about it.
Thank you very much. I have to say that there's a challenge that has been with the, what's the name?
FDA.
FDA and registration, business registration department for some number of years.
Can we speak up a bit, please?
With the beneficiaries on the YES project, I can say that only 3 of them have been able to register their businesses. I mean, all of these challenges are there. And so when you compare Ghana,
out of the 10, only 3.
Out of the 20.
20, only 3.
Only 3 have been able to register just because of these bureaucratic processes and so on and so forth. And so we have not found a way around it yet. We'll still continue supporting them. I mean, some of them want us to, some of them want FOSDA to help them in the process of registering their businesses, but we are still on it. We haven't found our way around it yet. So 3 out of 20.
20?
Yes.
Wow.
So it's a major challenge, and I think it's at the policy and national level to be addressed.
Oh, Bill, let me bring you into this conversation. You are into exporting as well, because you don't just do for the Ghanaian market. Yeah. How did you make it?
Okay, so actually to start up with those conversations, I think one of the facilitating resources is to actually go into the export school. That way, you're actually given the fundamental beginnings of how to get it done. Based on that, you leverage on the assistance that comes in from these governmental bodies, than going in to register as an individual. When you go through the Export Promotions Authority, you are given an added advantage, which is actually to help you and aid you in the governmental processes, where he's actually just explained to us that we've had a lot of challenges. And I think these things are because people are addressing these processes as individuals instead of going through the right processes that has to do with governance. Once you go through the right process of governance, there's an aid that comes with you, and then on that aid, there's a listing that is done. When you go into the listings, there's a number of things that are supposed to be met. Most times, we actually will speak that we go into offices and things are not done for us. Why is it not done? It's because we do not meet our processes requirements, and that delays some of the processes from the governmental side. Most of the time, they actually go in, pick up perspectives of various businesses, go through their whole process flows, and actually realize that there are certain documentations, certain tax returns which haven't been done, certain authorization standards that are required from the international bodies. We do not even have it. So some things like barcodes that are expected internationally, some kind of tax funds that are done, some kind of shipping requirements. I mean, you have to be able to know what the terms are and all that to enable you to ease your certification. And so it is a process flow that we actually go through. And if we are able to go through that, the next challenge will be for us, which is for what we actually facing, is to have things from government which will maybe tax holidays. So like we do in the international exposed companies, we actually give them tax holidays. We can actually come back to Ghana, and for us, these are some of the assistance governmental can give us. Once we have tax holidays, it actually makes the export process you're taking from one side to another as easy as possible.
Let me ask Solomon now. 20 companies. What Oakbell is saying?
20 youth businesses. 20
youth businesses.
Yes.
I stand to be corrected.
Yes.
I'm glad.
3 out of 3.
3.
Yes.
Now Oakbell is saying that they probably go to export school and all of that. Go here, do this, and it will be easy. Why are you laughing?
So the businesses we are dealing with are startups, and so we want to just formalize those businesses, and we are working together with a consultant who is helping them through a process of business growth. We call it the critical success factors. We are grooming these businesses to grow along these 6 critical success factors together with their own developed indicators and then key performance assessment.
So what is the problem with the registration?
So
what's the challenge?
I think it's access to what do you call it? In some of the regions, the speed of getting this certificate readily available is one of the issues they have raised. Some of them have financial challenges. You have to get one or two things here and there to move around. And the businesses are also located far away in the hinterlands. And so transporting and coming to the central business district to access the office and get these businesses registered is some of the challenges they have raised.
Right.
So the strategy we have adopted is that going forward, we are now going to take all these details. We have all these details. We are going to register these businesses, and we have been doing that, and there's this back and forth.
The back and forth is the
back and forth.
So it's not about the school.
It's not about the school. Sometimes you go in there and there's this back and forth.
Okay.
And you don't also know anyone. You don't have extra resources.
Also, the whom you know comes in.
Yeah. Whom you know is also there. Even the whom you know has even changed to who knows you. And if the person knows you, is easy. 3 years ago, we were registering a business. You know some couple of friends, and you go there, and it's quite easy. But now you don't know anyone there. No one knows you, and so you have to go through the normal process, and the challenges are there. So maybe one or two.
So just before we cut in here, my concern as well with this business registration and I think one of our because I'm speaking on entrepreneur sections today, so I'm going to actually say one thing. I think one of our team's person said it. He said, see, when you're starting anything, you start on the small scale. So it's the same way when you're going into a business to register. When you go in to register, the process says search for the company.
Right.
Give your skill balances in terms of your finances. Let us address it through the systems that have been put in place that would register you. The Registrar General has actually eased the process where you don't even have to now go there.
Now you can
pay
do it
for
online,
a form.
Right?
You can do it online.
Right.
So you start
and it's
on
60 cities or so.
60 cities. So businesses coming in to actually be intermediary agencies for between the registered generals, which is government owned, and then the individual. Sometimes these challenges come in because at a pile for an agent, which is a company, they need to pile up certain number of documents, number of companies, and present them. And presenting the companies of a business that needs to be registered, the process of even searching for a business name actually takes time. And if you actually go into the Registrar General yourself and go into search, it should take you a day. Or even like in few hours, you should be able to know. So I beg to differ about his contribution. And I think in everything that we need to do, we need to scale up our businesses from a startup to a limited liability.
Right.
And that is it's just like we're having the same, idea thoughts of people feeling like they own certain things without growing through the process. He said, you need to start up your business by making sure you become an apprentice before you become a master. So the process is the main thing. To be an entrepreneur, you need to go from 0
200.
200.
Now, some messages coming in. Sorry, my name is Stephen Ajay from Obono East Region, Techiman. I'm a field assistant in the youth in afforestation as an employee. I believe in you and your team. Please say some of us for us. For 1 year, please, we have not been paid. We decided not to go to work unless they pay us. It's either all our money or half of the payment. They are also forcing us to stay at work because of the incoming Green Ghana project. From last year till now, nothing to show off. Please help us. Wow. All right, so we've spoken about it. We are hoping that the government will do something about it. Another message coming in from Wa. Good morning, watching you from Wa, and a graduate since 2013 without a stable job for 10 years and currently into soap and beading. Can I be connected to your panelists for assistance? Of course, why not? I mean for assistance as to how to get it right in life. It's good that you are listening to the show today. You're actually watching it and listening. And it's so true. I took a loan from MTN loan and things didn't go as planned, and I have to pay even though businesses didn't go as planned. And let me go to Ivy. Ivy, we've been told that it's not right for you to go take a loan when you're starting up a business. So then how do you start your business?
Yes, so it's not... Hello, Rosalind.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so it's not good to take a loan. The pressure the banks will give you, you cannot be able to concentrate and work within it. So it's just not advisable. What I did was to, because I was leaving work, I had saved some money. So I used that. Aside that, I started this plan even when I was working. We started building the factory whilst I was working. So before you even come out, you will know that this is the way forward. And this is the amount of money that you want to go into. You've done all your research, you've done your structures. You know that this is the market you are going into. Even whilst I was working, I started doing it, sending the cereals to friends and family to get the feedback from how I can make it better before you come out. If you are not someone that has already worked in a corporate environment before, it's not a big deal. Don't worry. Don't just start it as soon as you decide that that's what I want to do. Mm-hmm. Don't just also start sharing the idea that you have. You have the dream, nobody knows. And so if you've not started doing something and you come and talk to me for assistance, I'm not willing to help you. It's always good to put it down, structure it out, draw a plan on how you're going to start, no matter how small. As it can even be processing cereal, but you're just doing one bottle at a time.
Right.
So as little as it is, just do it and send it to the people you think they can help you. We have friends and family. We have people that you know that when they see you're doing something better for yourself, they would like to support. Give it to them for free. Do as much as you can to give it out for free. Get the feedback that you want. Be ready for all the feedbacks to build up.
But Ivy, let me come in here. The economy is tough, okay? Now, there's this quote, and I want you to let us know if it's true or not. Passion will take you into entrepreneurship, but hunger will kick you out. How true is the statement?
It's very, very true. I'm very fresh in this entrepreneur world, so it's not easy. Passion will take you. Hunger will take you out because, you know, you are used to getting salaries coming through and just relax. After I've done my work, I've been paid, and that's it. It will get to a point you'll be paying your workers and you'll not be paying yourself. You get me? And there are so many sacrifices that you have to do to decide to be in this shape of entrepreneur business. It's not just there's a lot of sacrifice. The sacrifice aspect is.
Oh my goodness, Ivy, this should not be happening at this time. Let me try and get Paul here. Hi, Paul. Paul.
Sorry, I also had a network issue, so I have to go. And I'm happy I'm back.
Okay, thank you so much. And now, you know one thing, training your employees. You know,
I cannot really hear you. Can you come again?
Can you hear me again? Can you hear me? Is it better?
Okay. Hello, can you hear me now?
Okay, Ivy is back. But Ivy, can you hold on? The network. Okay, we are having a clash now. Ivy, Please hold on. Let me get Paul in, and then I come back to you, okay? Paul.
Actually, I didn't hear, so I don't know whether the problem is from your side.
Can you hear me now? Is it better? Is it better?
Hello.
Unmute yourself for us.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Okay. Now let me come back to the studio, and then we'll try and fix this problem. All right. So Ivy, I'm sorry. Oakville. Yes. Now, you know the thing about training your employees. Okay. I have heard so many times, train your employees, train your employees. We come to Ghana. You had to laugh because you know what I'm going to say.
I know.
You train them, and the next thing is they leave.
Yes.
With all the skills you have given to them. And they go and do the same thing.
Yes.
And compete you.
Yes.
So then how do you handle it?
The mindset is the win game. So from start, when they come in, we give them a mindset of ownership. To be an entrepreneur and to work with people, you need to make sure the people are with you. They are for you and for themselves. So we give them a mindset that in being an entrepreneur, I'm not just employing you, but I'm employing you to grow yourself and to also make sure that you grow other people. So we scale you one, you grow, we have a team with you, you become the lead on the team, and then you grow 2 or 3 other people. In that way, we give you product ownership. It's your product, you actually give it a name that is for you, so you no more become a competitor to the company, you are owner of a brand. So just like we would say, I always use the FMCGs, Cousins would have maybe Cousins Baby Oil, you become the owner of that. So at Jakarta, we give you an ownership. So we have maybe a sandals that we may name a Mubarak sandals because it's an owner of the product. And under him, he has 2 leads. He's a lead and 2 team members. Based on that, it is up to you to grow that particular product within the next, you would give it a timeline that within the next 2 years, you'd want to see. I give them the opportunity to give me their perspective of how they want to see their product that is done, because we are handcrafting things. We want to see our product, my particular product. So there's a sense of war between themselves amongst the teams, because everybody wants to see their product in a certain space at a certain time in a certain volume, because we are actually looking at things that we are talking about in terms of volumes, which is going to change back again to read for us as your return on our investments for which we have given you. So we give you maybe a seed to start with, let's say 1,000. And so your target on 1,000 CDs is to make a value for us of 50 shoes. In 50 shoes, how are you going to scale up to make sure that we get more than 50 in the next 1 month? Based on that,
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let's come to reality.
Yeah.
The economy is not good.
Okay.
Today, dollar is 10.
Okay.
No, the city is 1:10.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is 1:12.
Okay.
How are you going to say that, okay, I'm moving from 50 to 100 tomorrow? How is that possible? Because you might end up even having to push your profit in there. And you, whatever you bought, you know, your basic for, now you can't sell it at the same price. Okay, so what happens is, because you're actually an entrepreneur, you know, you need to arrange ahead of time. So that when such inflationary things start to happen, you already have your scale of products. And it's not now bringing in new things. Based on that, you have the values in terms of what you need to have in terms of stock. Based on that, anytime we have an inflationary discrepancy, that actually works between having a product or having to bring in raw materials. One of the major problems we've had in this our economy is because we do a lot of imports than exports. So in situations where we have to bring in a lot of imports in, it means that we're going to go by that FX exchange rate. And if it actually goes up and we have to also face that challenges, it means that as a business owner, you should have planned ahead of time. From between, let me say, 2019, 2020, those were circumstances we couldn't manage. 2021, 22, 23, there are things that are marginal. We see what is going on. In such difficult economic situations, we should have had the accountants on their toes, the finance teams on their toes to actually leverage ahead for procrastination of things that have to be done. And based on that, we don't need to like step back. We will move on based on what we see. So I always say in every business, you need to make sure that planning is done properly, especially from the finance side. Right. Where as an entrepreneur, you need to separate your personal self
from the business. If you can't do that, then we have a challenge with all these we're having with
friends.
Family and friends, yes, like she said, you would want to give some things out which are for free. However, in giving these things which are meant to be for free, it needs to be evaluated. And in doing that, that is where you will call your valuations as return on investment in terms of advertorial. So those advertorials that go out for you, those unspoken words that get for you are also evaluated. And based on the valuations, it's also put it into numbers. Because, for instance, if you have an accountant who is with you, he would evaluate it. That if you take 1, you go out in terms of 10. And that is, instead of maybe sitting back and thinking, I gave something out to Joy Prime to put on their table as a runner or whatever. However, I haven't gained anything. The mileage is because how many audience watched that thing and how many people saw it, and that is remunerated in terms of values. And if you work with the accounts, they will definitely give you the values for it.
Right.
So there's nothing like family and friends loss. I don't think there is anything like that. No.
Solomon, now the young ones, I mean, yes, you've spoken about the struggle with registration. Yeah. What about finances? Is that a struggle as well?
I mean, yes, it's one of the big challenges these small businesses are facing.
But you know what Bell is saying? You don't need a huge sum of money to start a business.
Yes, you don't need a huge sum of money, but you need some amount of money to start.
Like what's the minimum you think we need?
It depends on the business. In my case, for instance, way back in 2007, I started with 20 cedis. That was back then. Right now, if you want to start a small business, for instance, peanut butter processing, one of our beneficiaries is doing that. You need about 70 cedis to get the raw materials, to process it, to get the butter out of it in that time, to get containers, package it, and brand it in that time. So all these ones come with some amount of money. And so we've not done the estimate to know the amount of money it will cost, but we know as an organization it will cost you some amount of money. And so when the business were talking, when those Ivy and so on and so forth were talking.
Ivy and Paul.
And Paul. I believe they were also saying that as Ivy, for instance, had worked in a corporate environment for a number of years. She has saved an amount of money. Yes, and so, I mean, from that point of view, you can say that, yes, you need some amount of money. In this modern guy, I don't know what business you start without any money. I think you need some amount of money somewhere. And Paul was also saying that family and friends can also come in. In my case, it was my family who supported me with that amount of money. I mean, just 20 cedis at that time, but it was substantial to get the business to where it got to at that point in time.
I wish we had all day, but we don't. So let me read some messages here. ICANN Ghana says the white-collar jobs like the banks, radio and TV, hotels, insurance, savings and loans, forex are too much, and they are the cause of hardship in the country now. Okay, let's see. Another one says, Obapa Nina says entrepreneurship will only be possible if you have someone to support you in your financial situations. It's not easy, especially in the beginning, for you to do this. It's not. Oh, but I didn't ask you how much you started with.
I told you the last time. It's interesting. For the level of business I've scaled up to, I started a business with 5,000 CDs. Okay. I actually really confidently start my start grounds on that, and I actually can cough out to say that there is nothing you want to do that's not possible. No matter how small it is, put yourself first, engage yourself into it, and ensure that you're actually making your difference between your personal life and your business life.
Ivy. Hi, Ivy.
Hey, Rosalind.
Yes, the network hasn't been our friend today, but it's still fine. Yes, it's still fine. That's okay. Let me take your final words so I can let you go. Have a great day. Your advice to the young ones, all entrepreneurs out there, how you're surviving. But I'll be waiting for some of your Gary, though.
Yes, you'll get them. I'll make sure that you have it. And a taste of the cereal as well.
All right.
Okay. So the young ladies and gentlemen out there, let me just tell you that in as much as we are not...
So the network is just telling us that they don't want us to hear anything. Let me try and get Paul on and see if I can have Paul speak with us. Hi, Paul.
Hi, I'm here.
Great. So there are young ones watching. Of course, they are wondering how you survived last 10 years. It's been tough. But your advice to them?
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. My first advice is that they should write their plans down. whatever idea that comes to you to engage in a business or becoming an entrepreneur, please write it down. That is the first approach. Knowledge that is carefully recorded is knowledge available in time of need. So you put all these things down, and then you look at the plans, how to execute them one by one or one after the other. And once you put it down, make a move to start. Speak to people that have been in the businesses before. At least if it's a new idea, identify people that you think you can trust and then go to them. Because some people today, once you go and share ideas with them, forget it. They have the money, they do not have the ideas. So the moment you go to them and you share the ideas, they will use their money to execute, their idea, and then you will still be sitting down. Then we should also think about partnership. That's one of the things that could also help us start. Right. We have an issue with partnership as people, because when business starts and we all go through the struggle, when it gets to a certain level and then you see the profits coming, that is where greed comes in. Mm-hmm. So who did what and who started what, whose ideas and all these things. So it does not really make us to really form that synergy, among ourselves. But I can still tell you that look for trustworthy people. You may have the ideas, they may have the money. Come together and then begin. And then when you begin, add discipline. Because one of the things that an entrepreneur should have, one of the attributes or quality an entrepreneur should have, is to become more disciplined in his approach.
Right.
Sometimes you need to sacrifice, not paying yourself. Sometimes you have to go angry. Sometimes you have to even trek. You don't even have money for transportation. But all these things are building your history. So when it happened to you, don't give up. Build the history one after the other, before you realize you get there. You spoke to each and every one of us, we all had history. We all started from somewhere. Yeah. And we have to use our history or our story to impact in the lives of people that are losing direction or that are not having any place to start their life with. So once we share ideas that we have with them, these people will feel inspired and they can even be able to start on their own. Thank you very much.
Paul, thank you so much. You do have a good day. And Solomon, there are young ones out there who probably need your help. Foster, how can they register?
Thank you very much. We are located in ARS East Legon, and we currently have ended our first phase, which is the pilot phase of our YES project. And hopefully by the mid of this year, we'll start another phase. But what I want to end with is that, if you look at the recent statistics that was shared by the Ghana Statistical Service, we have about 13 million Ghanaians who fall within the labor category, the labor force, who are able to produce economic goods and services. Out of this, we have 11 million who are employed, and about 1.7 million who recently said they were unemployed, that type of thing. Out of this 11 million, government is only able to employ less than 1 million. So it means that, what this means is that the remaining about 10 million or so are all entrepreneurs, if they are employing. And so if you don't take the route of entrepreneurship, then I don't know what else you want to do. Right. And so my advice to young people is that once you finish your national service, try as much as possible to accumulate some few sums of money and then start something small. Because FOSDA, as an organization, our target is youth entrepreneurs. If you are not an entrepreneur already, we can engage with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Obel, people want to know what you do so that they can patronize your goods.
Okay, so we're a sustainable fashion brand. We actually make apparels and high-end fashion accessories. Everything is bespoke. Everything is actually done by hand in terms of our primary product, which is the jute. And we actually make it for just not Ghana, but we're serving the international markets and the Pan-African community.
Thank you so much. A number to call you just in case they want to order something from you. Okay,
so to reach out at Jakarta, you actually go on to J_Carter_, which is on Instagram. On website, we're on www.jakartafashion.com.gh. On mobile, we're on +233 202 024 324.
Thank you so much. Ivy, I hope your network is better so you can give us your number. Ivy? Oh my goodness. So, Paul, for those who want to use you with regards to freight and logistics, your number, please.
Okay, my number is just a quick one. We have build global offices in the world. So we have over 2,000 network offices globally,
Okay.
which enables us to handle your shipment from any part of the world. We pick directly from your suppliers and we bring it to Ghana.
Oh, wow.
We also do cross-country shipments. So we move shipments from one country to another without we physically being present. So if you need such services, you can reach me on 024 117 0658. I repeat, 024 117 0658. Thank you very much.
I wrote down your number.
Did you write the number?
I've written it door to door. Why not? Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And I will say a very big thank you to all my guests. To you, Ogbel Majub, she is the CEO of Jakarta. To Ivy Edith Opari, unfortunately, she couldn't leave her number. But if you love Gary, make sure you contact her. She's the MD for Lex V Agro Processing Limited. Of course, I have Solomon Okan here, who is the Programs and Research Officer at Foster, and also Paul Mensah, who is into freight and logistics, and their company name is Freight Connect Ghana. You can call them anytime you need their services. Last message coming in on Facebook, on our WhatsApp. Good morning, I'm a graduate as at 2012, up to date, no job. What? 2012 till now, no job. But I do business upon business, but I see no light. Please, I need your help. You're doing well with your team, Rosalind. I always admire you. I'm from WA. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so what we'll do is that try and get in touch with us. Our production team will try to support you and see what we can do. Probably introduce you to some of the people who are doing well in the entrepreneurship industry and support you. Okay? Thank you all for watching this segment.